about declaration.
No, but
I'm just saying that clearly my actions are that I am on a new platform. And at the right time, the new platform will become a legal entity. And I think I said that.
why don't you resign from NUP formally?
And to achieve what?
You were unveiled formally
You want
as
me
the
to-
deputy president of Buganda.
And I was suspended formally at a press conference.
Yes, and your suspension is still holding.
Still rolling, just like the court martial works at Makindi the same way. My people at Kavule work illegally, in a manner they choose to work. And
Why
I
don't
also
you
choose.
resign? I mean, it takes courtesy.
What do you construe as a resignation? I have announced something fresh, something new. I announced a new day, a new way of doing things. I am communicating to all and sundry that I am going another way.
You're no longer deputy president.
Am I in office?
You're on suspension.
So when you're on suspension, are you in office? Would you be in office when suspended?
It is an indictment. Perhaps it can be lifted anytime.
Well, I wait for that to happen. But that does not in any way stop me, inhibit me from exercising my civic right as a citizen to go out of my way, to rally other forces of change, to think the way I think. That's what I'm doing apparently.
You were a founding member of the National Unity Platform, like
Invariably,
you've always
yes.
claimed.
It's not a claim. Have you been around?
Yes, I have.
When was it founded?
2020.
And where was I then?
You were in DP and you were unveiled as one of the members who had joined.
And when did, well, I think that for me was not joining. At least the people therein know all the investiture activities of founding NUP and who was involved. So I don't want to go into semantics of founding or not founding, but the facts remain facts.
Well, there is a strong notion that you're founding the Democratic Alliance out of anger, having been booted out of the National Unity Platform or mistreated, for lack of a better word.
First of all, I'm not an angry man, but I'm a man who moves with conviction. I move with conviction. I have a duty to self. I have a duty to country. I have an obligation to colleagues. Where I think that the collective has not been achieved, where I believe the collective is being diverted, where I believe that the collective is being shortchanged, I have a duty to rise and say, hey, we are losing our way. And when I sound that warning and it's not heeded too, then I am obligated to act differently. That's what I'm doing.
You seem to be a lone wolf in this. You're walking alone
Why?
and joining a wagon of political, I don't want to call them failures, but political non-starters.
Like who?
Look at the DP bloc, the top leadership. Are they movers and shakers of things?
Depending on how you view their work over time. But because I've been around probably long enough and active, I know what I need from everyone, including former members of the DP bloc. So I understand everyone, and in politics, everyone gives you what they have. You don't expect a uniform output from everyone. So when I meet Simon, it's task. For me, I believe in tasking, and when individuals are able to deliver their tasks into the collective basket, I'll work with everyone as long as they have understood the extent of their assignment. So we are not the same, and I appreciate that. It's from that diversity of capacity and presence that makes the difference. That's what actually makes an organization. It cannot come from a state of conformists, like-minded all the time. But when you agree on the deliverables and each one of you is tasked and they deliver, I'm content.
Well, there is something rather awkward. Of all alliances you forged, you even reached out to a self-proclaimed rogue like Alien Skin. Doesn't that make you really desperate?
Well, first of all, Alien Skin reached out to me and said, we are troubled, we're a troubled group. And I agree, because it's part and parcel of the so many young people within and without Kampala, talented, scattered, and not led, and said, we want to be supported, to be organized, to act more formal, to have more discipline. I said, come on, bring it on. And I committed to assisting them. And I can tell you, I'll go out of my way to try and help them. They have no formal education. They're extremely talented. They're not taken care of. Our formal systems do not recognize them. But they're out there and they're looking for people to backstop their capabilities and align them, probably benefit from their talent. So it's not a convenient thing that I was desperate to reach out to him, but I can only say I am desperate to have every citizen of this country capable of adding a voice to the struggle of a fresh Uganda to be on board. If that is desperation, I concede.
Well, you founded NUP. Okay, you were initially in DP. You migrated. You founded NUP. You migrated, and now you are joining a new entity. Doesn't that make you a political migrant of sorts?
Well, as long as it's mission-led, I cannot stop. I was in DP with so many others, and the vehicle ground to halt.
Yeah,
The driver stuck on the steering and failed to move. He stopped the engine and hid the key. Little did we know that he was joining another wagon. But he has stuck with the key, and the engine has one single key. We could not move. Our objectives as a party then could not be achieved with a stuck driver with no capability and humility to say, I am done with my task here, can somebody take over? It failed, and we had to find a way. So when we founded NUP, it was in the same spirit that we needed to begin anew, and therefore we wanted to build an enduring, formidable organization that will give the country hope, that will project an alternative to the reigning, to the long-term regime of 40 years, that will actually give hope to everyone across sectors, give promise and new belief that Uganda can be better, that the country's resources can be equitably shared, that the young people of this country can see a promise of a new Uganda. I have done my part in NUP, which seems to be in a state of inertia. When I was LOP and Deputy President, I did my part. And I think you hosted me here severally to speak about the alternative that we would offer the country. I wanted NUP to amplify that and stick to that. What we see is that I don't think my friends at Kavuli are interested in that. I don't think they are even aware that as the opposition we are stuck. I don't think they're even aware that the opposition needs unity. Instead, I can see fomenting of divisionism in the opposition. We hardly meet to discuss common goals. We hardly convene to chart out a common program of action against the juggernaut of the NRM. We hardly convene as the opposition to agree on whether and how to participate in the next phase of elections. All you see are reactions to those who try to do anything and posturing. You must have heard their reaction to my proposal of reforms, and as opposed to their eagerness to participate in the next election regardless of reforms. You had them questioning, the Vice President questioning why I am retabling term limits and not age limit, as if that is really a serious matter, you know. So you actually see inertia and you're like, we can't make headway. We have probably 3 methods of removing the regime, and all of them require planning. I have heard people speak about, action on the mouth. You want to go for elections as an alternative without a plan. All you need is a nomination. I see only people trekking, to pay tithe, to tithe potential candidates, jostling around, pitting friends against each other instead of aligning an organization to serve the commonality of the opposition. There's a problem.
Yeah, but
the opposition needs a fresh beginning on a new day.
Isn't it quite telling that Mpuga is starting off alone? You were such a pillar in politics, you'd imagine that there are quite a number of legislators maybe who would have accompanied you, but their no show was such a huge indicator.
Well, Simon, I have been at this before. Everything has a beginning. Everything has a beginning, and I am in no mood of worry. I had a few legislators on that day on site. I have several legislators cowed by the system at Kavule, but actually are saying, let's go, let's give it a go. Several of them, and they know themselves. And even the people at Kavule know. So I have no doubt that all we needed is to start. When we start, the rest of Ugandans will join us. This is not about legislators. It's about everybody concerned about the state of this country. And they'll be on board. It's not about members of parliament. It's about councillors, it's about teachers, it's about doctors, it's about farmers, it's about health workers, it's about journalists like you who are concerned about the shrinking civic space. So, this new face of a new agenda for the opposition has nothing, or it's not about
what do you
members
bring
of
on the
parliament
table?
Well,
That is quite different
think
from
that's
other outfits that have come on and actually disappeared. Strangely, you even call yourself DA, Democratic Alliance. Is it a replica of the Democratic Alliance, the TDA then?
Well, nomenclature or non-nomenclature is not the issue. The issue is actions. A platform of that nature must play a role at the time and of necessity disappear. I announced that our mission is twofold. One, to bring a new outlook on how the opposition is organized. The opposition must organize and work together in a systematic and strategic manner. Want to demand for electoral reforms. Demand, and I'm using the word demand on purpose, demand for reforms, constitutional amendments and electoral reforms.
Those are rhetorical demands.
Well, call them rhetorical, but the reality is, if you're going to speak about an election worth its name, you must undertake wide-ranging electoral reforms. This has been documented over the last electoral petitions that have held 2016 particularly, and even 2011. And there's no doubt that these have not been heeded too. The opposition must not wait for a donation of civic space. The opposition must make demands, and these demands must also go to the people. The people must be enrolled to participate in making these demands. And I'm serious about this when I say the opposition must go a notch higher, away from rhetoric. And you're going to see me organizing the population into making these demands. Secondly, the opposition must, as of necessity, sit under a big tree and a big tent and speak to each other. Right now, the opposition is divided that everybody is cocooned in their own small enclave and able to think beyond positions and survival.
Yeah, but again, Honorable Mpuga, what kind of alliance is this where the key players are not with you? I've not seen the big traditional parties come on board.
But you're jumping the gun, Simon. I only announced.
No, that was a launch.
Yes, I launched, and then I'll reach out. I'll reach out and make, the next time you see a joint platform sitting, you know you have made inroads. You don't have to wait to have a board on board to launch. It was a launch. And for me, the launch was very okay. And the next time you're going to see me, I'll be reaching out to so many people. And I said that even that day, not necessarily reaching out to bosom friends, but those I believe we can sit and even discuss our disagreements on how to approach the next cycle of politics. Not simply posturing about the opposition as if being the opposition is really a permanent calling.
Is NUP on the list of the groups that you intend to reach out to?
Everyone, including NUP. And probably they will be able to wake up from their slumber.
Would you consider sitting down with Honorable Kyagulanyi to chart a way forward for the country?
As part of the DA, yes. But not as part of NUP. He can be NUP, I'll be DA, and something that will come out of DA.
What do you live in NUP? as you get into the exit lounge?
My legacy in NUP is there for all and sundry to see. That I invested my energy, my resources, my capabilities to improving the outlook of a ragtag organization, to give it a face, to give it a name, to help them, erect a clear platform of views on how the state is organized. I think if they are humble, they will say, yes, he helped us.
Do you think NOP is back to its ragtag style?
Well, I don't think it's a question of opinion. It's a question of opinion. It's all there for everyone to see. The divisive nature of their politics, for me, does not help the cause of the opposition. But that is their space. Maybe that's their space. I am not here to direct them on what to do. Probably they prefer it that way, and I want to respect that. And I am saying that's not my way.
Yeah, but there is a sense that you're in this to fight national unity platform, to bring down a party that you birthed.
What does NUP have for me to fight it?
Well,
What is there for them that I fight for? I know who has the ball. And I'm saying,
when you map their strongholds, I think this is where you're targeting.
well, that's speculation. Wait and see how I'll act. NUP does not have the ball. The ball with the NRM. That's why I'm taking the fight. I am only questioning the capability of NUP in its shape, unable to even evolve structures after 4 years, unable to be democratic internally after 4 years. I think there's a problem. If you're going to really mount a fight against a regime of that nature, you must be able to open up, work with so many people, even when you fear them. That's when you can be able to make the next move.
There are commentators like Professor Latigo who have come out scathingly to say that the interests that you're promoting are rather weird. You seem to be focusing on Buganda, and it is a non-starter for you. Whatever you're doing is being done out of spite.
I did not watch Honorable Latigo live. I was traveling, but a friend sent me a clip of his absurd statement. And I felt sorry for the old man. He sounded rather insipid and bitter. I don't know the cause of his bitterness. He was in the 7th Parliament, the 8th Parliament. He was LOP for 5 years. I was LOP for 2.5 years. He was in the 10th Parliament as well. He missed out on the 9th. He was there, silent. I don't know the cause of his bitterness. I've not met him in a while. I don't know why he's bitter. And it's not the first time that I've seen him speak about me with bitterness. I want to believe that he's part of the old bigotry. And I don't know whether I can find time. I don't know who can disabuse him of that bigotry at that age. When you are starting a project, you start from where you are, with the immediacy of your door.
He says you lacked a national outlook. It was more of a Buganda
No.
affair.
I heard him speak, and what made him a nationalist is that he attended the burial of Noble Mayombo. That's why I thought that he has a big problem. He's bitter. My record is there for all to see, and I don't need his validation. That's what I can say. I have immense respect for my predecessors, but I take exception to his bitterness and rather uninspired utterances. Let him come up from whether he is. I want to believe that his expertise in insects has taken the toll on him. Let him come and we work. If he has anything to offer as a nationalist, beyond burials he said to have attended.
I think you're going below the belt.
No. If you're an old man his age, there are gutter levels don't descend into. The last time I had interaction with him, I invited him to come and give orientation to the opposition when I'd just become LOP. I wrote formally to him to come. He did not turn up. Instead, he said I should have driven to his residence and begged him to come. I don't know how else to help him. So I think he needs help. And I want to assure those around him that if he wants to speak to me, I am available. I am not an angry man. I take matters in my stride. When I have challenges, I deal with challenges. And I'm not angry with anyone.
Is this the kind of person you want to speak to after berating him to that extent?
Have I berated him?
Yes, you have.
No, he's an angry man.
Insects are on his mind. He's angry. He's a nationalist because of burial.
That's what he said. Were those my words? He said he's a nationalist, attended the burial of Noble Mayombo. For that to come from a former LOP, he had time to rise. That's why there's time for everything. When you are given space to show cause, to showcase your capabilities, you do it. You don't wait and then you're like, what is he missing? I don't know what he's missing. He's had time in parliament for 3 terms. He should have shown that he's capable. Let's stop the bitterness. I cannot be bitter because I'm not LOP. I cannot. I did my part. And for a senior citizen, the age of my father, should not be seen to be bitter on national television, scratching a man that I've never crossed his way. Is he bitter because probably I succeeded him, not even immediately? Does he believe, I mean, if on that day...
No, won't you rather focus on the issues that he raised?
What were the issues?
That
burials?
You're parochial, you're looking at Buganda, you're very...
What made him think that way, that I'm parochial? What was...
from another region spoke at your function?
Well, probably he was half awake. I had teams from Acholi. I had teams from Lango.
Who spoke?
I had teams from Busoga. I had teams from other parts of the country, from Bunyoro. And I can tell you, it was not a question of speaking. They were introduced, they came up, and I was unveiling. When you are unveiling a new vehicle, you need to understand. And probably it depends on who is organizing. In my view, we have enough speeches and we're simply enough for the day. We shall speak.
Yeah, but there was a Buganda dominance, which was very strong.
A Buganda dominance cannot be regretted. You begin with what you have at the moment. You know politicians, Simon, that you'll have people tell you, ndi nawe ne tugenda mpola mpola. You know, those kind of politicians, there are several. But I mean, there's always a beginning. Yeah,
but normally when political outfits are launching, there is a bang. But yours was so lukewarm. Does it tell you that skepticism is overriding?
Am I here because it was lukewarm?
Not really.
Yeah,
You're here to talk politics.
Exactly. So we shall get there. Everything has a beginning, and I'm content with how we started. And I know for a fact everybody paid attention. The country paid attention. And we are going to reach out to everyone. We had to start. We have lost a lot of time and opportunity. We have missed opportunities to make inroads, to shake the regime. We have missed. We have lost time in concerts. We have wasted time in insulting each other. We have lost time in trivialities. We have lost time in self-preservation. And for me, from anywhere, I could have done it in Nyendo Tax Park. I could have done it in Karangala. I could have done it somewhere. So where I am, where I have a microphone, I start. That's the best way of starting.
Honorable Mpuuga, given the complexity of opposition politics, fractured with a lot of backstabbing and suspicion, how high is the mountain for you to climb?
Well, I appreciate the gravity of the challenge, but it's not insurmountable. I appreciate it's quite big, but I think huge tasks are cut out for personalities with the capacity to do them. I don't think it's an insurmountable task. Otherwise, if I was set out to do the simpler things, I would have settled for simply waiting and running around Nyendo Mukungwe to preserve it. I think the call of duty now means that I must reach out to all parts of this country to bring the opposition together, to speak the voice of change,
The key target
to rally,
is
to awaken,
the key target is 2026 elections.
and beyond.
Are
And
you
beyond.
preparing
Simon,
ground?
listen.
Are you preparing ground for Mpuga to stand during the presidential elections?
I said it's the beginning. I am out to rally the opposition and like-minded people that want to see a new Uganda, such that as we build up to the next election, we have a free and fair platform that can give an opportunity to all intending, all capable citizens, scared of participating in national elections, scared of being part of the cause for change because of a rough terrain, to have a chance. When that time comes, and I said that and I repeat, the opposition should, as a matter of necessity and urgency, sit under a big tent and choose a candidate that will or is capable of turning tables on the regime. And if my team says be part of that contest, I will.
For now, you don't have a formidable team. Do you agree?
I am building a team.
You don't have a formidable team.
Well, I can never have one in the circumstances. I am building a team. Tell me who has one.
Nope. Nope has a stronghold in Buganda.
Well,
Their footprint is undisputed.
it's because I was part of it. And I'm saying there's every sign to show that actually it is crumbling like a pack of cards. And we must. And you see, this is not about Nope. It's about the country. And I hesitate to concentrate on what Nope is failing to do, to say the opposition must reignite.
but there is so
the
much
opposition.
obsession with Noop. Noop
Not
has
with
failed.
me.
Noop has failed.
Not-
Noop has
not
failed.
with me.
Even in their addresses, they were focusing more on national interplatform. The failures, the shortcomings of national interplatform.
Yes and no. Yes, because NUP has the opposition mandate, and that mandate must be used to rally the opposition, not use it for self-preservation. That's why they are being told you are sleeping on duty, and that's a legitimate call on NUP. No, because it's not about NUP. Every one of us beyond NUP must wake up. There are so many sleeping giants in the opposition that must be awakened to be part of this juggernaut to cause the change that we desire. So, it has nothing to do entirely with NUP, but NUP is being reminded of the duty of the leading opposition party in face of the ruling regime that is partly armed, that is partly undemocratic, and out to use all manner of the tactics to retain power. And for me, it's a legitimate question on NUP and its leadership to end whatever they're doing to undermine the unity of the opposition and bring the opposition together. I said earlier that one of the biggest challenges with NUP is failure to convene the opposition together and lead the opposition.
You're starting off with a lot of skepticism from the players you'd have allied with under the circumstances. Do you think, do you see a time pretty soon where, one, you'll have believability, two, where you'll set a firm ground?
Which players? Are you speaking in chorus or you know particular actors?
I've seen quite a number of actors comment.
Yeah, you see, Simon, in the circumstances, they have every right to question the wisdom and the choices we make. But then you ask, in their own corners, what are they doing? They're not doing anything because they fear to start anything, or because they have given up, or because they think it's impossible. And I'm saying it's not an improbability. We can do something about our situation as the opposition and give this country a new promise and new hope and belief that we can turn tables. I am going to reach out to those corners of the country. And when I say corners, I mean sectors, I mean actors, civic, political, and otherwise, that I believe have not been, that have lost morale. I know quite many would be partners in the change call that have retreated because of the manner the opposition is being led.
The whole affair is about Mpuga. The whole thing called DA looks more like Mpuga. Is there a possibility where you can divorce the name Mpuga from DA, or it's your briefcase thing?
That's why we want to turn it into a national organization. And once it turns into a national organization, then it will cease being a Mpuga thing. It's never my style to try and, pocket organizations. I want to see an organization blossom and become a people's organization through the way leaders are assigned and elected. It will happen. There's a beginning.
Okay, with the history of starting organizations, quitting, failing, what's the lifeline of DA?
I said at the launch that DA will evolve into a political platform. It's now a civic platform, okay? And once it becomes a political platform, then it has to build, say, enduring legacy. As a civic platform, it must do what's supposed to do in the short term and then grow. And once it becomes a political platform, the civic platform will necessarily and naturally disappear. It would have performed its mandate and handed over to a political platform. And for me, it can take a month, 2 months, even 6 months. But the work must start now, and it started on Friday.
In the short, what do we see happening in DA?
DA is out talking to actors. DA is authoring platform documents that is going to share with the country, to all sectors, to all Ugandans. DA is going to structure up, to coordinate countrywide, to reach out, and we are going to be holding countrywide meetings to reach out to people, recruit more people on the platform, and as it becomes a political platform, it will have formidable roots to spring from.
Can DA survive where other entities have failed? Because at the moment, civic space has shrunk further. The likelihood of rallying or bringing people together is next to impossible.
Simon, civic space is not a grant. Civic space is a fight. It's a hard bargain. And we are out to do that hard bargain. If anybody out there thought that we are out to be donated space, it's not going to happen. And I am summoning my old self to rally all and sundry into this fight. I don't think anybody out there doubts my capacity to mobilize people into an action. And that's where I'm going. Until there is opportunity for those who are scuttling, those who are squeezing the space to say, we also deserve our space. It's not going to be a donation. I know that for a fact. And I want everyone to be part of the fight for this civic space. Not simply, demanding for elections. No, we must demand for free and fair elections. They're part of the free civic space
As we take a break,
yes.
How do you feel when people call it a political joke taken too far?
That's their opinion. And I think those are jokers too.
We'll take a break and return with much more as we ask whether DA means anything to the current complex politics of the opposition. Good morning. Welcome back as we continue on the topical discussion, asking whether Honorable Mathias Mpuga's DA, the Democratic Alliance, is the new force to reckon with, or it is just bound to suffer the fate of other outfits that have come up and collapsed under their own weight. Well, we've seen quite a number of outfits that are meant to rally and forge alliances collapse. You were part of the Action for Change. It was an alliance. What led to its collapse?
Did it collapse?
It had vanished.
Well, those kind of platforms, civic platforms, must be mission-driven. And part of that was during A4C and the attendant walk-to-work protests were to arouse public awareness about government neglect of services and all manner of ills. And I think the A4C ushered in a new epoch on how politics is approached in this country and how government responds to people's concerns. I think we had more protests against government actions in 2-3 years, more than we have ever had since independence. And since then, civic alertness has been top-notch. I have no doubt that A4C redefined the way the population receives and react to government action. I have no doubt that we were successful, and it was never meant to be a permanent thing from the word go.
Are you reuniting with Colonel Besigye, the man with whom you parted ways and chose to go with Kyagulanyi?
Well, first of all, Dr. Besigye was FDC. I've never been FDC, but we have never lost communication. That remains and remained. So how did we part ways? He belonged to FDC and I was not.
No, for instance, in 2016, when the country expected you to rally behind him, you went for you went for Amama Mbabazi.
It's because the DP to which I belonged decided to support Amama Mbabazi. And in the circumstances, I said, let me listen to my party. Remember, I had rejected the party proposal then. And you see, the circumstances over that time were so difficult that the parties had worked for, I think, over 6 months to try to bring together a joint platform and a TDA that never worked. You even remember that the nomination of Dr. Besigye was rather a late decision. So there's no way we would have a conversation about who stands and who would not stand. So that I cannot regret because there was no opportunity for us to discuss possibilities.
So is Besigye part of this agenda?
I have not had a conversation with him, unfortunately, because he's been incarcerated. But at the earliest opportunity, I intend to give him a debrief and share my opinion on how I think we needed to move. The beauty is that I understand his DNA on these matters, and I have no doubt that we'll have a buy-in into what I think can make the big difference.
You said DA is going to morph into a political party, and there is that nausea about political parties in Uganda. Do you think the time is ripe for the formation of a political party?
When is it right in your view? A party is a collection of individuals, groups with agreeable opinion. Not necessarily individuals and groups that, should I say, are content with everything around them. But once you agree that this is the way to go, this is our choice of platform, and this is how we intend to play politics, then you can form a party. It's not good to be in a party where you do not agree on what to do, because then you'll be disruptive. I'm not talking about a party of conformists. I'm talking about a platform where you can agree on the course of action.
So you're rallying disgruntled members to form a party?
I do not have a register of disgruntled people. I'm putting out ideas on how a party should be run and how we can organize against a regime of 40 years. And those who join me would have agreed with my point of view and preferred approach.
There's a strong belief as well that Mpuuga is just being opportunistic, targeting 2026 to remain politically afloat and relevant.
If I choose to be a politician, and so what defines opportunism in the circumstances? I am supposed to organize. I am supposed to rally other people. It's never happened that I am a mere
You don't want
follower.
to be led, you want to lead.
Well, I have been led all the time, and I have not complained. And I am saying I am available to still offer leadership like before. Where I have been a leader, probably not the top leader, I have worked, and I have not complained. So what makes you and those who share that view believe that I cannot be at the top? What is the inadequacy about me that would inhibit me from being at the top of an organization? What's so special about those that have read organizations? So I don't think that anybody will have to provide me validation to declare that I am around. No, I don't need that any approval from anyone. I have worked with colleagues. They know my capabilities. I have challenged this regime. Many people know my point of view and how I would like to approach opposition to this regime and how fast we can cause change. These sentiments I've shared in some circles. And now I want to make them formal. Now that I have worked with some individuals and groups, and they're probably incapable of appreciating what I think needs to be done.
You're coming with a baggage of mistrust, stemming from, of course, the 500 million saga, which turned out to be one of the points of contention with your leadership in the National Unity Platform. How much bearing is it going to have on you and on the stakes of the upcoming projects?
Well, Simon, we have discussed that on this platform before. And I've told you and I've told the nation that corruption is corruption. When corruption becomes a debate, then we are not discussing corruption. When a matter of corruption is raised and becomes debatable, then you're not discussing corruption. This matter was contentious as to where there was no universal agreement that was corruption, and I contend it never was. It will never be at any one time. It will never be construed as one, save for those who prefer to use it as a stick against me to achieve short-term objectives. It will not stick. People have worked with me know my stance and my levels of integrity. They know that if I had wanted a shortcut to become rich, I would have been a wealthy person via politics, but I'm not. I'm humble. I've worked my way to where I am. And I harbor no grudges against anyone. And I think those who were using it as a trump card to bring me down now know where they belong.
How true is it that you've bought off Abed Bwanika's PDP, and it's the one that you're going to be unveiling in the next weeks and months?
Dr. Abed Bwanika speaks. In fact, he's outspoken. Why don't you give him a microphone?
Have you bought
No,
Bwanika's PDP?
I have not. And how would you buy it? What would I be buying?
A political party.
A
political
party?
outfit.
What's the value?
Launching it in the same manner NUP was formed, bought from Chibalama.
No. Even NUP never bought anything from Chibalama. You cannot buy a political organization. What do you buy? A building, people, slogan,
Register?
No. There's nothing to procure from a party. And there's nothing like a buying I've undertaken of Dr. Abed, and that should be disregarded. I know Ugandans love trading rumors. It makes a lot of sense. But that's my assurance.
Okay. Is there a resurrection of one of the old parties that we are likely to see in the next few months?
I can see your agitation with the party, but wait until we are working. We've been working for quite some months. When
There's been a transaction.
Well, you love transaction. I don't know why. Politics is not transactional. If you want to register a party, the procedures are laid down in the law. The transaction is not one of them. So I don't know what you're talking about. The procedure for registering a party are well defined in the law.
Given the characteristic of your launch, should the country brace for any surprise, or it's going to be still as flat or lukewarm as...
You still contend that the launch was lukewarm? Is that your view? I don't think, because it was a launch. And when I'm launching...
It never shook the political landscape.
What was supposed to fall? We are out to share with the people our preferred approach to regime change, to changing the fortunes of this country, to political participation. Give us a chance. Like I said, we are not going to work like anyone else. I think we had more, you're talking about numbers, we have more numbers than the latest political party I've ever seen being launched, if you so to speak. So what are you talking about?
Which signals are you trying to paint for the country as another formation now comes up?
I am telling the country that this country remains a country of hope, and leaders in the civic space, all institutions must wake up. Secondly, that working together for this desired change is inevitable, and therefore all of us must humble ourselves and come together, think together, and try to change the fortunes of this country. Thirdly, that all of you teachers, health workers, farmers, business people, all neglected actors in this country must rise and participate. And we're offering a platform. The young people coming out of college, universities, without a possibility, without a chance to participate in politics, to participate in your civic rights, we're offering a platform, saying that it's now time for us to have a voice on a single platform to demand for reforms, electoral and political reforms in this country, and that we must demand of General Museveni and his people to climb down and show the country a clear path of a transition.
While you come with all this enthusiasm, NUP says through their deputy spokesperson that Mpuga is finito.
To mean?
That you're done politically.
And you want me to respond to that? Who is he?
Your spokesperson.
And what is his achievement as a spokesperson? Politically.
He communicates for the party.
And what does it add to
The
the
leading
party?
opposition has already wished you away.
Well, Simon, I would rather respond to serious matters than trying to respond to such people. I don't think they merit my response. There's serious business to do. I'm going to do it.
Do you
And,
find your desires tenable in the short run?
Politics can work variously, and the actions can be cascaded, short term, medium term, and long term. And in the way we are going to work, some of the deliverables will be attainable. There's nothing of our desires and our aspirations that we outside the attainable range. All we shall do is to cascade them and ensure that those that we must achieve before the next electoral cycle are at least achieved. And then, after that, there is reorganization of the Ugandan state and government that requires to be done in the medium term and long term. Some of the proposals are attainable with government. Some can be achieved before even you go into government. So, short term, medium term, and long term. Because we face short term challenges that require adjustment, long term that require reforms. And therefore, we must have a catalogue of what is short term and therefore require a little tweaking and therefore adjust and offer the country possibilities. Long term, then plan for an overhaul for wide-ranging reforms. That's why when I tabled the electoral reforms, they also cascaded into those that require referenda and achievable in the long term with the new government, those we can achieve in the short term as parliament alone, those we can achieve as parliament and local governments, those can be done in the short term. So there's nothing within the unattainable range as long as the goodwill to do good remains.
As we get out of here, you've widely been described as a diplomatic politician. How do you fit into this kind of thorny politics that we have now? Do you think the politics of suits and speaking English can really influence anything?
I cannot be any other person. I am myself. I own my skin. And there's no situation.
That makes you feeble on the political landscape, apparently.
That's your view. And if it makes me feeble, I know it has brought me a lot of support because that's my way. That's what I know. But I am not static. Simon, I'm not static, and you know that. When time requires for me to act differently, I act differently. If the time and space requires diplomacy, I am able to put on a diplomatic coat. I don't need to explain to anybody how I work. You only have to appreciate my output.
Right Honorable Mathias Mpuga, the current coordinator. I hope I got it right.
Yeah.
Coordinator or president?
There's nothing like a president. You cannot be a president without an election.
Well, you've been a deputy president without an election.
That's what the Constitution said then.
That was ambiguous.
Yeah, that's why it was amended. We're yet to see the outcome of the amendments.
Well, that's it from me this morning. The big question remains, how much will DA influence the already complex politics of the opposition in the country. Let's keep the conversation going. Have a lovely day and cheers.